Hi there, my name is Laura Waldman and I'm a healer and a freedom coach. And today I'd like to share one of my favorite tools with you called Staying in the Question. Now, this is a tool or a practice to follow your intuition. So it's a way to help you tap into your intuition, into your, what I call your inner guidance system. So what we tend to do is we draw conclusions about everything, about what we should or shouldn't be doing, how your life should be, what you must do next. There's a lot of unconscious pressure or ideas about how we should or shouldn't be living your life. Notice all the shoulds. So we tend to function from shoulds rather than what is right for me in my life, what is the best choice for me in this moment. So this comes, from all sorts of pressure from our family, from friends, from work, from a lot of our social conditioning as well. It creates a huge amount of pressure, but it also stops us from really listening, from you listening to what's right for you, what works best for you in your life. And the truth is that no one can know that except for you. You're the only one that's living your life. So it's almost crazy that you might give up your power, so to speak, to someone else. You might go with what someone else thinks is best for you when they're not actually the one that's living your life. You're the one in your body. You're the one that is experiencing your life. So I see this about getting into the driver's seat of your life and really starting to follow and listen to what's right for you. So when we're looking at intuition, it's about following these subtle knowings, and this is what we call our gut instinct. And I think most people have a sense of what that is, but what tends to happen is we'll have the intuition can whisper, it can speak in a kind of a subtle, quiet voice, so to speak, where all of these social pressures as the shoulds and shouldn'ts of life can be screaming at us, and it's generally in our head, of this pressure of what we think we should or shouldn't do, or we're supposed to do or not supposed to do. So this idea of staying in the question is a practice of releasing and letting go of all your preconceived ideas about everything and anything. So there is a bit of stuff to sift through there. And you can look at it on so many levels. You can start with diet, which is something that's really simple, which is what you've decided you should or shouldn't eat, or should or shouldn't drink, and how much you should or you shouldn't eat, for example. Are you actually listening to your body? What is right for your body? I have had a lot of issues with food and diet in my past, so I was very, very sensitive to different types of foods. It took me a long time to really listen to my body, and it was actually, my body was screaming. It was making it very clear what it liked and didn't like. But even things that I judged to be healthy, I've noticed that there's certain foods that are supposed to be really healthy that my body doesn't actually like. So if we really start to listen to what our body wants, it will tell us. And so this idea of, rather than deciding based on someone else's ideas what's right for our body, we listen, we stay in the question, we ask our body, hey body, what would you like to eat today? What would you like to drink? Are you hungry? Are you not hungry? And this thing about really listening, because we tend to often, eat when we're not even hungry. Our body doesn't even require food, which can also create problems for our digestion, for example. Or there's so many examples, but, where you should or shouldn't go on holiday, what you should or shouldn't do for work. What I'd like to invite you to is this practice of staying in the question, where you really ask, what is right for me in this moment? What feels right for me? And start to hone this practice of listening to yourself and following that. It might be kind of a subtle or quiet feeling or quiet voice in the beginning. The more that we listen to our intuition, the more that you learn to trust it, and you can sort of hear it and feel it. It's often subtle, so it can be a feeling. So you can ask, there's a really cool question that you can ask anytime you need to make a decision or you're looking at making a decision, is what would create the greatest results? So it's a question, because we don't always necessarily know with our head, because our mind tends to think in quite a linear 3D way, and staying in the question helps us to think outside of the box and helps us to open up to the infinite possibilities that are actually available to us. So based on our family programming, based on our life experience, we may have made decisions or drawn conclusions that things just aren't true. So it helps you to open up to many, many more possibilities and helps you to move outside of the box that you've grown up in and that comfort zone that you've lived in. So what you can start to do, what I'd like to advise my clients to do, is start playing with the food thing, because that's something that we have to deal with every day, and it's not, the end of the world if you eat something that's right for your body or not. But you can start playing by really asking, staying in the question with food. Body, what would you like today? Body, what do you require? What foods would you like to eat? What foods would be nurturing for you? What foods would you not like to eat? And really staying in the question with that, and then you get into this practice of listening to your body. You can also play with it where it doesn't really matter what direction you go in. It's like, should I go left or right? You can ask, which direction should I go in? Which direction would create the greatest result? And what's so interesting when I play with this is sometimes when I've done that, like I do this all the time. So if I go for a run, let's say, I'll ask which direction I should go in. And sometimes I've had the most beautiful serendipitous kind of interactions with people, or situations that happen in these moments. Not always, they're not always sort of obviously significant, but it's very, very cool. So I really, really recommend this. It just creates so much more ease in life, and that's what I'm here to help you find. This thing of following your intuition and stepping outside of the box of the shoulds and shouldn'ts, which just keep us trapped and are based on other people's ideas of the right or wrong way to live your life. Only you know. And so this is a practice, like really learning how to listen to your intuition, and that gut feeling can take time to practice and to trust. It's really about redeveloping trust and trusting in yourself, because we haven't been taught how to follow our intuition. We've been told how to live and told what to do, and this is the best thing, and this is how you should live your life. And now we're going to unravel all of that with this really simple tool and start to listen to what's right for you in each and every moment, because even what's right for you in one moment might change in another moment, or might change the following day. So for example, your body may want a lot of spinach in this moment, but the next day it might want something completely different. So it's staying in the question is for you as well, so you don't draw to conclusion about what the right or wrong thing is. It also helps you to keep your mind open. It just helps us to stay in this sort of fluid way of living rather than a rigid, stuck way of living. So I hope you have fun with this tool. This is just an intro. I've got a lot more information about how to follow your intuition, but this is just a one fun, simple tool to start playing with. You can also do this. I also bring in asking questions like this in my meditation practice, because I find that when I'm more still and more centered and more kind of peaceful in my mind, I get more tapped into my intuition. So that's a fun way to begin to practice as well, as meditate first, find a bit more stillness in the mind, and then start asking questions. So just so you know, like before I make any decision now, I always ask questions. I always sit in meditation and really tap into my intuition, even like where do I want to go on holiday, or all sorts of things. Because it always leads me, I've learned over many, many, many years of practicing following my intuition, that it always leads to greater ease in my life. And it's not always easy, but it's always leading me towards the path of greatness, towards the path that's going to create the greatest result for my life. And it doesn't always make sense. So following your intuition, don't expect to understand the why. We have to let go of the why, because it doesn't always make sense. What I've found sometimes is retrospect, you'll understand a little bit more about why you were led in a certain direction or not into another. So enjoy, practice stopping, being with yourself, asking questions, really listening to your intuition, because your intuition knows what the best choices are for you in your life. So learn to trust in you. You have all the answers within. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to get in touch, comment below. I look forward to speaking to you again in the future.